is going on, Grinders? It's Chief. We're in the building. It is Take Your Pick'em. It is Wednesday, June 21st, 2023. And I am so glad to come on and hang out with all of you beautiful people in this industry. We're 30 minutes early today. We've got a earlier MLB slate, and we've got some heavy hitters coming on behind me. So I am getting this thing cranked up, and then I will get out of your hair and allow these other beautiful people to come on and talk about some traditional DFS. I am here to discuss the pick'em sites, strikeouts, and pitching outs and fantasy points and things of that nature. On some of the pick'em sites like PrizePicks, Underdog, Vivid, etc., etc. Mr. MP, thanks for coming to hang out today, kind sir. If you're a friend of the show, we're going to kick this thing off with winning words of wisdom. And this was a good one this morning. When I came across it, I said, man, this is the one for today. And this is coming from Les Brown. And here's what Mr. Brown has to say. He says, in every day, there are 1,440 minutes. That means we have 1,440 daily opportunities to make a positive impact. And I thought that was an incredible quote there, incredible statement as well, because every day you wake up, every day your feet hit the floor, every time those eyes open, every minute, we do have a shot at making a positive impact in someone else's life, in your life, in your family's life, your children's life. And so I'm a big proponent, man. I do think that positivity, and I'll say this, a small ripple effects, it's a force multiplier, man. You'd be surprised how much peace you can keep in your home just by continuing to be positive, even though things are going to get a little rough sometimes. But if you keep that positive outlook, there will always be respect, there will always be love, and that's at home, at work, out in the community, so forth and so on. I do think in general, man, we just become a more selfish society. I remember being a kid, and I felt like people were more giving of themselves, giving of their time, and they had more of their hands to give than to receive. And I think we've kind of become a society of takers rather than givers. Let's turn that around. Let's become a society of givers. Give your time, support a local charity, support your local community, and watch how little things in your life can continue to turn around for the better. All right, we're going to kick this thing off. We'll go with our recap. Yesterday, it felt bad, and then I went back and started checking cards and looking at things I had in. Definitely wasn't as bad of a day as I thought. We did not get the sweep on yesterday, but that's okay. On the month right now, we are 18, 21, and 2. So as we get closer to the end of the month, you're starting to see that corner turn. We were really in the ditch here a little bit earlier this month, really behind in terms of trying to catch up with these plays. But as you look now, we're starting to turn a corner. Yesterday, Marcus Stroman was pretty much our top play on the board at 91.5 pitches. He was able to eclipse that number, so that was a win. We also had an additional Marcus Stroman square there on his fantasy points at 29.5. He was able to go over that one. We had Spencer Strider at 9 strikeouts. We wanted less than that projection. He ended with the push, and I figured it was a push or a win. Went out on a limb with that one. And obviously he went, I think, 6 innings, 100-something pitches, got that 9th one in the 6th inning. And I said, well, listen, but I did still think it was a good opportunity for us. And then we went with Mr. Perdomo, and this one hurt me. Perdomo out in Arizona facing Colin Ray. Didn't do anything. I think he had 5 or 6 at-bats in this game. And that's something that was very disappointing as other guys continued to churn away hits and runs and fantasy points. And Perdomo just didn't do anything at the top of the order, which is why I typically like to stay away from bats most of the time, just because I feel like they're slightly less predictive, even in a great spot like that, but that's okay. So we ended yesterday 2-1 with a push, and once again, that brings us on the month of June, 18, 21, and 2. So that is where we are at the moment. And we were close with the sweep, as Boom Shakalaka said, very close with the sweep. Perdomo just didn't get there, and I'm perfectly okay with that. So as we continue to hop into the plays, we're going to go ahead. So today we had this on Monday, and I don't think that wasn't the reason for the sweep. It's just the plays were still up. And so we had this on Monday, and we're going to continue to attack this again today. I mean, we're going to be basically hammering vivid picks. I mean, they've got the better lines as of right now. Some have moved on PrizePicks and Underdog. And we're going to kick this thing off. And I'm going to start with Kevin Gausman. Now, Kevin Gausman is a guy that we're going to be able to get him across the industry no matter what. So this isn't one where I think it's shifted on us just yet. I think it's the same across the board. But once again, as a whole, we're going to concentrate on vivid picks this morning, okay? So we're going to go ahead and get this pulled up and talk about Kevin Gausman at 6.5 strikeouts. And this guy has absolutely been a favorite of mine this season as we have continued to utilize his particular projections. So we've got him at 6.5, and I like more than that projection here. Now he's facing the Miami Marlins. Obviously, we always talk about Luis Arias. If he strikes out, I mean, it's just a blessing. But my assumption is Luis Arias isn't going to strike out at all today. But the rest of this lineup, I think we see some strikeouts here. And we can see here that on the season, Kevin Gausman, 34% K rate, 33.3% K rate to lefties, 34.8% to righties, 35% the past 30 days, 32% to lefties, 37% to righties. And once again, if for those of you that have not talked about Kevin Gausman with me, or have heard me talk about Kevin Gausman, the reason I like Kevin Gausman so much, man, he's got this splitter. And it's a little bit harder to hit than some of these other pitches that these guys see. And so when I pull up the splitter numbers for the Miami Marlins, you're going to notice very quickly that these guys aren't going to hit the splitter well. And so as a result, as you can see, look at the K rate numbers on this. And obviously that's in limited batted ball events, but limited batted plate appearances. But most of that's because they're not going to see the splitter as much as they would see other pitches. And so this is the reason why I'm always in on Kevin Gausman overs or more than the projection. And so we can get him at 6.5. I think personally, there's a little value there. And I'm saying value in terms of how I would have projected Kevin Gausman. My assumption is he would have come out at 6.5 today, but I mean 7.5, excuse me. But I think because of a few rough starts or two back-to-back starts with not as many strikeouts, I think we've got a bump down on the actual sports books. And so for that reason, I think Kevin Gausman, this is a very good investment with us today. So Kevin Gausman, 6.5. Once again, this is on Vivid. Kevin Gausman hasn't changed across the industry. He is the same, I think, on all the sites right now at 6.5. He may bump to 7 by the time the game kicks off, but I would continue to get in on this 6.5 while it's still available. So our next one up, we're going to stay in the same game, folks, and that's going to be Sandy Alcantara. So we've got Sandy Alcantara at 5.5 strikeouts. And so what we want to do, I want to take less than that particular projection. We just have not seen the high strikeout stuff from Sandy Alcantara that we saw last season. And what I mean is his strikeouts last season, when I pull it up, as you can see, he was around 23%. This season, around 21%. And he's just not pitching as well. Now, he is a guy that historically is going to pitch better at home, and that's the truth. But I also think the low strikeout rates for the Toronto Blue Jays are going to limit the upside at 5.5. So what I'm hoping, we've got Springer. This is just a projected lineup, but Springer's at 16%, Merrifield at 17%, Bo Bichette at 18%, Ladd at 15%, Varsho 21%. Chapman and Horowitz obviously have pretty high K rates. Horowitz, very low plate appearances. Chapman, 247. He's historically been a guy that's going to strike out anyway. Kevin Kiermaier at 19%, and Tyler Hyman at 17.4%. He's also got limited plate appearances. But the bottom line is, as a team, this team just doesn't strike out a lot. And so what I'm hoping is they can just continue to limit the damage with Sandy Alcantara, even though he's going to be at home. I think Sandy will pitch better today, but my assumption is the strikeouts will perhaps not be there. So that's one. This is another one where I really like it. You look at what Sandy's throwing. A high sinker guy, obviously, because he wants to get those ground balls, change up, slider, fastball. So that you can look and see where he is on the on the spectrum. Really good pitch mix, but I definitely think the Toronto Blue Jays are going to be able to put their bat on the ball today. And just because they put their bat on the ball, it doesn't mean it's going to result in hits. But if they can get the bat on the ball, ground outs help lower strikeouts. So I don't care if Sandy goes 3 innings and is at 40 pitches. Just continue to get those ground outs. I'll take it. Toronto can score runs. I'll take that too. But we want less than 5.5 strikeouts. All right. I'm going to move to our next one here. This is another one early. So as you can see, so far we've put some early feelers out there. I'm going with Tyler Wells, and Tyler Wells is facing the Tampa Bay Rays. And so typically I will not try to attack the Tampa Bay Rays. But Tyler Wells, folks, is having himself, a season. I like what I'm seeing from Tyler Wells. We've got him at 5.5. I was hoping he would possibly bump down to 5 at the recording of this show. Still at 5.5. I'm going to take more than that projection, folks. And here's something that's incredibly interesting about Tyler Wells this season. I want to compare some last season numbers. So here's what we see here. Tyler Wells has taken a leap. So 26% K rate on the season, 29% to lefties, 24% to righties. Last season, we saw Tyler Wells at a 17% K rate, 22.3% K rate to lefties, 14% to righties. Last 30 days for Tyler Wells, 34% K rate overall, 40% to lefties, 29% to righties. Now, Yandy Diaz and Wander Franco are going to give him some problems, and I understand that. I'm expecting him first time through the order to pick up at least 3 strikeouts here, and then let's see if we can pick up three more the second time through the order. If he can get Luke Fraley right out of the gate, I'm going to feel fantastic. Hopefully he picks up a strikeout from Randy Rosarina at least once. And then from the bottom of this order, maybe he can get 2. So perhaps we can get 4 strikeouts from Tyler Wells the first time through the order. And if so, I'd be feeling fantastic, especially if the pitch count isn't up incredibly high the first time through. So once again, I do like Tyler Wells here. We can look at the pitch mix and just see what he's throwing. So he's got fastball, cutter, changeup, slider. Those are the main ones. Fastball, cutter, main 2, changeup, definitely a little bit off speed, and then he's got the slider as well. And so I like what we're seeing from Wells here, and I think I just think it's phenomenal in terms of how he's improved this season. If he can continue to progress this well, we may be looking at an ace on our hands out there in Baltimore that they did not expect. So my prayer is that he can continue to pitch well today. I think there are enough strikeouts in this lineup. Once again, at the top of this order with Yandy and Franco, if he doesn't strike those guys out, I'm not going to be worried. But with Fraley, I'm hoping he gets Fraley early, and even Randy Rosarina, I think he can pick him apart a little bit here in at least one of these at bats. We've got a question from Boom Shot here, and he says, "Do you like his 2K in 1-2 inning for his live prop for Wells?" Absolutely. I do actually like this today in terms of the live offering. So basically what we're asking is, can he get 2 strikeouts in the first 2 innings? I think that's definitely in the cards, especially, Boom Shakalaka, if one of Yandy or Franco get a hit. So if one of them gets a hit in the first inning, that opens up a few more opportunities for him to get closer to the bottom of the order between the first 2 innings. So I don't mind that at all. Now, I'm probably going to stick with the 5.5 more than the live, but I don't mind the live at all. And I haven't checked the live board yet, so now that you've mentioned it, I'm absolutely going to probably get a little bit of that in on PrizePicks as well. So, folks, we're going to go through our recap. Those are our 3 plays today. As a matter of fact, let me give you a bonus play. I will limit the analysis on that because I know we got to get out of here with the other guys coming behind me. But I am going to go to the Seattle Yankees team. Let's go with Luis Castillo at 7 strikeouts. That's a guy that I like today. I'm going more than that projection. Facing the Yankees, we know Aaron Judge isn't there, and he's definitely got some strikeouts available. 28% for Bowers, 30% for Stanton, 24% for Rizzo, 30% for Donaldson, 27% for Higashioka, 30% for Volpe. We've seen his strikeout rate in the past 30 days tick up just a tad to 32.5%. So not a lot of analysis there, but I did want to include that one in there. We will include that one in the official tally. So right out of the gate, we've got, excuse me, everyone. We've got Kevin Gausman at 6.5 strikeouts. We want more than that projection. We've got Tyler Wells at 5.5 strikeouts. We want more than that projection. We've got Sandy Alcantara at 5.5 strikeouts. We want less than that projection. And then we've got Luis Castillo facing the Yankees. Slightly watered down lineup with no Judge there. 7 strikeouts. We want more than that projection. Folks, thanks so much for joining me. You've been tuned in to Take Your Pick'em. I am Chief. Come in with your pockets empty. Leave with your pockets full. We'll see you tomorrow.